Okay, so today we are going to start with AWS Glue, the ETL part. Okay, for that we have to come on this ETL jobs, and here we can we have multiple options. Okay, so we can actually start with visual editor, which is something as like if you have used ETL tool, Azure Data Factory, Talent, Informatica, IBM data stage, it's kind of that thing, okay? But obviously not as good as those tools because those are natively built for the drag and drop thing. Then we have the option of Spark script editor. Here, a Spark shell will be launched for you, and the programming language choices that we have here are two. We can code either in Python or Scala. So if we use Python, it is called a combination of Spark and Python is called as PySpark, and otherwise we can call it Scala Spark. Then I have a one more engine option, that is Python shell script editor. That means the same engine that we were having in the Anaconda that we will get here. We can code and do the transformations and logics in this using the Python programming language and achieve our work. And then we have Jupyter notebooks, that is in the form of notebooks we can actually run the code. So we are going to explore all of these things. So yes, if I just let's say I want to start with a visual editor, so I can just choose either with a complete blank canvas, or I have an option of choosing the source and target option. Okay, so let me just go ahead and choose the source and target, and I'm going to hit create option. So something like this I will be getting. I will have I have the option of as source, and I can do some transformations here, and I can create data in my S3 buckets. Okay, if you click on the plus sign, you will get an options of choosing any sources. You have the option of transformations and working with data, if you want to have different sources, all those things you can choose here. Transformations like filter, renaming field, dropping null fields, and some generic transformations or like select from collection, spec, union, all those things are here. Joins should also be here. Yes. But in real time, like joins we also have, but in real time, mostly you will see that we are using the actual script editor, not the visual script or visual editor. Okay, because here till time like you have a generic options, it's okay to use the glue. But I think when we go ahead and try to create the scripts and try to when we have a customized requirements, then this is not a good tool to use. Okay, but just for our demo, I'm going to work on this simple transformations here. I'm going to choose my S3 bucket. Here I will have to modify some details like name. I'm fine with S3 bucket. Source location, either it can be a S3 location, like directly we can read the file, or we can read the file from data catalog table. Okay, so if I come on my S3 bucket, so inside this folder, if I can actually get back that file which I deleted yesterday. Okay, I'm going to utilize this file, and I'm going to hit S3 location. I am going to browse this. Okay, inside this, I'm just going to select this folder. I can choose this. Okay, now if I just go ahead and data format, I can choose. It's a CSV file. Files fields are separated by comma. There's no escape character. My code character is just double quotes. Okay, and first line of source file, it is having the headers. Okay, and then I can just refresh this by using info schema. And here you can see the schema. It has inferred my schema. By default, it takes every column as a string only because it is reading the CSV file. Then data preview you can do here. Okay, we will have to, looks like we have to finish all the denotes, then we can do this data preview, and I can just come back here. Okay, so this is how we can actually simply set our source, which is a S3 bucket. Next is apply mapping. If I come on the apply mapping, some things if I want, I can go ahead and change. Like I can just say listing ID is not a string type. I can just convert it into big int. Okay, if I wanted to drop some column, I could have selected the drop in it, or like I could have selected this drop checkbox. Okay, and then if you see in the output schema of this node, you can see now my listing ID is going to be converted into a big int. Next, I can come on the target. Okay, I can choose the file format of the target. So see, in real time, we might be having data in source as a JSON file, CSV file, or maybe Excel file, or like it could be any of the file type and at the source moment or at the raw data side. But when we talk about the output file format, 90% of the times or 90% of the projects use Parquet because Parquet is a columnar format. It needs a less data for the data saving purpose. Like when it stores the data back, it needs a less amount of data. Okay, so for that reason, I'm just going to convert this file into a Parquet file. Compression type, if I want, I can choose that. I have Snappy, and I think I have LZO and gzip compression. Let's just go ahead with the Snappy one, and I can choose the ASCII output location. So I can just say browse. Let's say I go ahead and write this in this one. In the, wait a second, I cannot use this one. Let's say I say browse, and I go ahead and load this file into this project one. Okay, and I'm going to just choose the Kinesis folder. Here I am going to see my file. Okay, now I have the option whether I want to update the glue data catalog. That means whether I want to create the table for this file in the glue data catalog. Okay, I can just say create table in the catalog, and on subsequent runs update the schema and add new partitions. So that I can do. And which database I want to use, I can just take a database. I am just going to find Airbnb. Table name, I am just going to say Airbnb ETL. Okay, this is table name. And if I want, I can go ahead and add the partition keys. That is an optional thing for me. We are going to talk about the partition keys after some time. Now I'm just going to see the preview of the data. Yeah, meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, Jalaz, the Airbnb is on which database? I mean, what is the platform?
Glue data catalog, the one we have seen yesterday.
Okay, Glue catalog. Okay.
Okay, I cannot see any data preview here. Maybe let me just try it on as the source side. Yeah, here it's actually showing my data and absolutely correct format. Okay, after apply mapping, I can still see my data. After S3 bucket here, I'm not able to see my data. Maybe it's due to some Parquet file format. Okay, but this job is actually built, and let's say I wanted to apply some transformations and all those things. I could have picked it from the here, like joins and all those aggregate functions, and derived columns used for create transformations on directly on the columns. Okay, so I should have a derived column here somewhere, or maybe I can search for that. Derived, yeah, this is the derived column. Okay, SQL expressions we can use like upper, lower, or to integer like that. Okay, that this we can do, and then I need to replace my name here. I can say S3 to S3 visual editor. I can save my name. Okay, now if you want to see the script of this, you can simply click on the script part, and here you can actually see the script, what it is doing behind the scenes. Okay, this script this is actually a glue dynamic frame. We are going to talk about this, and then if I wanted to download the script, I can download the script. But thing is here is like you can see script is locked. I cannot go ahead and modify this script slightly, I cannot use the visual editor. Then I behind the scenes I cannot just do some transformations in the by using the script. If I just do is edit the script, I will lose my visual editor. Then I have my job details. So here you can see my name, job name is S3 to S3 visual editor. You can provide a description here, and you can just come down and say IAM role we have to select, and I have shown you in yesterday's class that what role I am using. Okay, type of the job is Spark. This you cannot modify. Glue version currently it has picked by default Glue 3.0. If you want, you can go ahead with the 4.0 also. Language that we are using is currently Python 3. If you want, you can use Scala also. Worker type is G1X. So worker type is a kind of a like it's a compute engines that are going to be launched behind the scenes. So if you see, I am using four vCore CPUs and 60 GB RAM of worker type, and which is more than sufficient for your transformations. If you have very high core data, or when you're working with some visual data, in those cases we should use for G2X, and that is highly recommended for the machine learning workloads. So which is actually just the double of capacity. Then how many number of workers you want? Like this is the worker type, but how many of those you want, you can define here. Like 10 is the by default it takes. The more number you have here, the more bills you will get. So for your practices, you can keep it to 5 or 6 also. That is more than sufficient for small data. Okay, it might take instead of 30 seconds to 1 minute, but that is fine. We can wait for 30 seconds, but we are going to save in some cost. Again reminding, Glue is not the completely free in the free trial also. Okay, we have to pay for every time we run the job. We will have to pay for this. Okay, not a very huge number of amount, but yeah, if you run it around 50 times or 100 times with the 5 or 10 workers, you might expect $2 or $4 of bills. Okay, $2 to $4 of bills you can expect here. Just in case if you want to automatically scale the number of workers, that means if you have more workload and if this job thinks it need more workers, it's going to increase the number by itself. So right now I'm not taking this, and I'm fine with 10. If you want to generate job insight, that means behind the scenes, Intellis Glue will analyze the job runs and provide the insights how to optimize the jobs. You can use this tool. Job bookmark, if you're connecting with databases or some S3s also, like it works. This means already processed files or already processed data. Just in the case of job failure, it's not going to process again. It's going to pick up from the next row. For that, we will have to configure this. Flex execution. If you want to more cheaper cost. If you want to have more cheaper engines, then you can use the flex execution here. This is going to, you can actually see it. you can actually see it here that it is going to reduce the cost by running the job on spare capacity. So it is like it's like something I have more and I can just can give it to someone in a cheaper cost. So it's that concept. But if this this cheaper cost spare capacity is not available, your job is not going to run, or it's going to take a long time. Okay. Number of retries. If your job fails, it's going to restart again. Keep it to 0 because our jobs are going to fail with a syntax error only, and syntax error are not going to be resolved by retrying. We'll have to fix those. This option is available like in the productions. Sometimes job starts on some scheduled time and data is not there, so this job is going to retry it after some time. The maximum limit of this job can run, it's by default 48 hours. You can reduce it back to like 20 minutes. I highly recommend this because just in case if you have a infinite loop, you will be paying a very huge charges if you let your job run for 48 hours. So keep it down to 20 or 30 minutes. It's more than enough. Jobs are not going to take more than 2 to 5 minutes. A script file name by default is same as the job name. Okay, you can actually go ahead and edit this also. It's not going to matter, but yeah, by default it picks the script file name with the job name. These scripts are actually saved on the S3 bucket. So I have created this bucket. In this, all the scripts are going to be saved. We can have enable job activities. This means jobs information, it's logging, and Spark UI is going to show you some monitoring information. Okay. Maximum concurrency means that how many parallel versions of the job can run. So for ATLs, we try to keep it to 1 only, but depending on the requirements, we can enhance this also. Then temporary path is utilized in the S3. So this is the location where like every job, like every programming language, whenever some coding transformations are happening, some temporary data is generated. That data is going to be stored in this temporary location. Okay. So here Glue is going to save runtime memory, or you can see this is a like some transformations are happening, some joins are happening, and in between that it has to save something. So this Glue is actually going to save those data in this location. And remember, your Glue job should have the access to all these locations, like a script path location, Spark UI logs path location, temporary path location. So you should give a proper access here. Security configuration, if you wanted to create, you can go ahead and create that. This means if you want to encrypt your data, or if you want to have server-side encryptions, you can go ahead and enable those here. For this demo, as our data is not very highly critical, I'm just going to keep it disabled. We can use this Glue data catalog as high meta store. That means the same thing. We can have the tables created here, and it's going to allow, it's going to go ahead and create some tables with data information, and we can do queries on the Athena tables also, and we can also read those tables as a data source from Glue also. Okay, just then I have Python library path. So actually, basically these connections are for connecting the outside world databases. Any JDBC supported databases are actually supported by the Glue. So we do not have any outside of the AWS connection. That's why it is blank. Python library path. This is the path, like say you have a main job and you have already defined some functions. Okay, those functions you want to use repeatedly. So you can go ahead and save that functions files in a .py format on some S3 location, and then we can go ahead and reference those functions in the Python library path. I'm going to show you this in the final project that we are going to create. And likewise, if you have some dependency jars files or reference files path, if you wanted to use, you can provide those here in the form of S3 file paths. This job parameters is like the environment variables for the Lambda. We can go ahead and create some variables here. And here we can also enable some functioning. So if you want to install some extra libraries, or if you want to enable the auto scaling, or if you want to enable the continuous logs, those you can also provide in the job parameters. And also you can create your own job parameters, like you can say S3 input path and then you can provide a path here, and you can use this variable inside your job. So like that also we can do here. Tags we can provide. Tags is same as the all resources that we have, and we can go ahead and save this job. Once I save this job, I have the option of run enabled. So if I just go ahead and execute, if I go ahead and click on the run, it's going to start my job. So this is going to take around a minute or two. Yeah. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Jalas, could you please go to the scripts page? Scripts. Hi, Jalas. Hello. Can you hear me?
He is joining back.
Oh, okay.